Welcome back to my channel and a new 3-part series of interviews talking to the Apeks players and staff for their 2024 campaign. I'm going to be releasing these videos in the weeks running up to Polaris Split 1 start on February 1st, so make sure to subscribe and not miss out on any of those. We are starting at the very top with someone who knows what it means to make an Ascension Grand Final with one already under his belt, the point of continuity from last year's team and the newly promoted former assistant coach, DANNYTO. Danny, welcome to the channel. Great to have you back, and congratulations on your new role as head coach of Apeks.
Thank you, man. Nice to see you as well.
Yeah, it's been a long off season, as you know. It's been a while since we've had the chance to recuperate. How are you settling into your new duties in this slightly different coaching role?
Well, it's been really nice. We had like a few 3 months of trialing people, but I'm really happy with our end result, and I cannot wait to hop on the server with the new team.
The last time that you and I spoke, of course, would have been in Berlin. If you remember, I gave you the FIFA card, right? Like the Valorant card that everyone had. You're a big FIFA fan yourself, so I remember you were quite appreciative of it. If you had to put yourself as a FIFA card right now from, you know, the last 5 months or so, would you say that your rating has gone up? Has it gone down? How have things been sort of over these last couple of months since then?
I think everyone from the team had like a big change after Ascension. You know, we had a really big loss, and everyone I think everyone grew after this loss, if I can say it. So I think that everyone from the Apeks team that we had back then is like ready to prove themselves. Everyone has a new challenge in front of them. So I think everyone are ready to prove themselves. So I feel like I have upgraded myself, if I can say it like that, since then.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a really interesting thing to think about as well. And something that I did want to mention to you was that feeling of family that I think there was in Apeks, and just being around that team environment compared to a lot of other rosters that I've seen or had the opportunity to look at firsthand. It does feel like there is quite an importance placed on you being together as a group. How do you think that's really impacted, and how are you looking to bring that into this team?
Well, Apeks is a very open org to us, and they are supporting us with everything, like always. They're really great, and they are like helping us to have this open, like to be like very open in the team, you know, and just to have like to bringing us this family-friendly environment to everyone. So I think like this is not like built in a month, you know. It's like a long-term process. So, but I think we are slowly getting there with the new team as well, building up this environment for everyone that they can be open and say everything that they feel.
In terms of the team, that has changed on the front side as well, but also when you look at the backroom staff, that's been a bit of a shuffle with you coming into the head coach role. You're not working with Ito anymore. Your Bulgarian brother has left for Leviathan. What is it that you maybe learned from working with him that you're going to try and apply here? And some of those returning faces like Desmo, how are they going to be an asset to how it is that you operate this time around?
Ito taught me a lot. He's a really great coach, and he's a really great person. So the stuff that I learned from him last year, I will try to implement them this year. And with the expertise of Desmo, I think that me and him are forming a really good duo regarding coaching. So I'm looking actually really forward to everything that is going to happen to us in the new year, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess something to mention then as well is with all of these different moving parts, there needs to be a way for them to come together. You guys had a bootcamp recently. How exactly did that go? What were the main things you were focusing on there as a group?
Yeah, so on the last bootcamp, we were focusing mainly on our fundamentals, how we want to go in every game, how our comms will look, and how our working process will work. And laying the fundamentals for this in the first bootcamp is really important, and I think that's what we managed to do. unfortunate. We had some sick people during the bootcamp, but we kind of find a way to work around it. So I think like our first bootcamp was really good.
It feels as if I almost jumped a couple of steps because you got to the bootcamp period, but obviously there were quite a few months of trialing before then. And, you know, from what I'm aware of, I could sort of see that stuff was going on in the background. How exactly was the trialing process for you over that time?
I mean, we tried a lot of people because we wanted to give everyone a chance. And it came to a time that we kind of were settled on few players, but we were waiting for VCT trials to end. Because, you know, everyone priority is VCT and we are after them. So we were kind of waiting for the VCT teams to complete their teams so we can be able to finish ours. So it was like a long period, like 3 months of trials. It was a lot. It was super draining.
From what I understand as well, I think one of the earlier selections that you guys had made in terms of building that team was around Molsey and in the IGL role as well, which isn't something which maybe we've come to expect from him as a player. What exactly was the thought process behind that, and what do you see in Molsey as being this leader for the new version of Apeks that you're hoping to run through Polaris with?
Well, first, Molsey is quite experienced and he understands the game very well. And he's this kind of a guy who can joke around, you know, be the heart of the team, but in the same way he can be very strict, and he can expect from people the things that they need to do. So it's kind of like a good balance, but as everyone, you know, he needs to learn more about the IGL position and just get into it. But I think so far he's doing a great job.
And then looking at the trials a little bit more objectively, something that people have been talking about quite a bit was that maybe some coaches don't value trials as much as others. Something that you mentioned to me just then was that you wanted to give everyone a chance to demonstrate their ability. Do you think that in the current age of Valorant, is it like more of a time-dependent thing? If you have the time to trial loads of people, you should? Or is it better to just scout out players specifically and then throw them into a trial?
It depends, because we had to build the roster from the ground, you know, so we were searching for 5 new players. So building a roster of new 5 is a long, like it needs time. It's not like that we have a core and we're searching for specific players that are gonna fit them. We're building something from zero. So in order to do that in a good way, you need time. It's like it's a must.
Yeah, for sure. And then I guess it's a question of finding what it is that you want to fit in around those pieces as you build it together, right? So it's sort of one individual at a time, or you have an idea of, okay, here's a couple of players, such as Hype as well, I think, has played with Molsey, right? It was Molsey that he played with, and he played with him a little bit in the off-season too. Is it, you know, things like that where you can say, okay, these 2 players are a good fit, we want to bring in a couple others to sort of build around them then?
It's like we wanted to have a balance between experienced players and inexperienced young superstars. So I think that we managed to do that. But in the beginning, we just wanted to, you know, we really liked Molsey from the beginning, so we were kind of set on him from the start. And then we needed to work on our Polaris core because, you know, about the LTR rules. So then we were focused more about finding our Polaris players that fits us, and then we resumed over to the other roles.
That was something else that I wanted to ask, actually. Do you feel like you guys have found the winning formula, so to speak? Because again, it feels like you have this 3 out of 5 players who all played in VCT last time. If you contrast that to a core of Mystic, Magnum, and Enzo from last time, balanced with this young blood and a player like Kayak, for example, is that the way that you think teams should be approaching it, that good blend of the two, or is it set in stone that it should, you know, just be experience, or that you can gamble on youth, maybe like the current Carmine Core team that we're seeing this year?
I really feel that a team should be balanced between experienced and young players that are really good mechanically, but they need like some uh, their teammates to guide them and coaches, of course, to guide them through and get them better day by day. So I think like this is the winning formula for a team, and I think that this is what we have built in Apeks in the off season.
Something else to talk about, because of course it's the elephant in the room, I guess. ProMod have now left, missed games have come in. There's been a bit of a change in that regard, and hopefully the upheaval of the league will mean that it's better for all of us into the next year or so. What expectations do you have, not necessarily from the new TO, but from the league? What are your wishes, your sort of, or what was on your Christmas list for Polaris coming into this year?
It's not that much. I just want regular matches streamed,
Yeah.
I want a cup, so we can like maybe have 2 LANs. It will be great, just for everyone to meet and have like a good experience on the LAN event. It's super cool when you meet people there. And yeah, just some hyping about our league, and just get the better viewership for the region, because like Polaris is a very talented region and it needs to be developed. And I think like with the right tournament organizer, this can happen very well.
In terms of individual expectations and as a group, I am assuming that it's going to be the same as it was before. Win both splits of Polaris, move to Ascension, and then, of course, make the step up to VCT. Is there any specific goals that you've set on a more short-term basis leading up to that?
The goal is only one, and it's to be every day 1% better, if possible. So our goal is to evolve and become better day by day, and if we manage to do that, I think that we have the potential of winning both splits and Ascension. But it's all about us working together and fixing our mistakes, and yeah.
I guess that's something else as well, right? That I just wanted to sort of tangent on to this point, is that it is you and Desmo working as the coaches for the team. Is there anyone else that you've brought in or that you're maybe considering bringing in later on? Not to sort of poke the bee's nest or anything and try and get an answer from you, but I know that last time people were joking that Apeks had like 100 coaches or whatever that you had to help support you.
Well, I think for now we're kind of really set on regarding the coaching stuff. Desmo is like really doing a really great job, and he's fitting with everyone super well. So I think this time we will not be like searching for other people to help us.
Yeah. If you look at last year, then it was a brilliant run from you guys. Was it only 2 losses out of 27 games? Naturally, the most painful of them came right at the very end. But what lessons have you really taken away from that whole experience and all of those 27 matches that you played, right from the very first against Human Tripwires to the final one against Gentlemates in Berlin?
If like people are open and they're on the same page and they always express themselves and they're not afraid to be who they are, and they work hard enough, results will come in for us. But we all of us need to learn how to handle like high pressure games, which is like the most important thing. Yeah. And yeah. I can see only like a good positive stuff from last season, despite the bad loss in the final.
That leads me quite nicely into my next question, actually. You guys are now confirmed to be going to Superdome next week. We didn't have an event like that last year for Apeks in the preseason. You guys just dived straight into that first official, and I think Mystic said after the game that maybe it was a little bit of that first official nerves when otherwise it should have been plain sailing against a team of the quality that you were up against. How exactly are you going to be treating this competition coming into it? Is every game going to be played like it was your first officials of the season, or is it just more practice and getting those reps in and being up to match fitness?
This tournament will be like a good opportunity for us to gain some stage experience as a team and to play our first official game there. So and since Polaris is starting in like roughly 1 month from now, we'll have some time to fix our mistakes, work on the things that we see that we need to work. On this tournament, we want to experiment with some stuff and just to see what can work, what cannot work. So yeah, we're just going there for the experience that we can get like on stage as a team, because it's super important to have it.
But I'm really looking forward to watching the matches, to be honest. And the fact that you said that you might be dabbling with a bit of something experimental in there as well is also exciting. And I guess that leads me on to another question, which I perhaps wouldn't have asked if things hadn't gone the way they had in the last 24 hours or so. We've seen some pretty big changes come to not only Icebox, but Lotus and even Deadlock's kit heading into a fresh split. What's your opinion on that as a coach? I know quite a few have already been pretty outspoken against it. Where do you place yourself on the spectrum?
Well, I cannot lie, I really like Heaven, and I don't like Ascent because everyone is playing the same thing on Ascent. It's kind of boring. But it's like a really interesting map pool. I think the map pool is good for us, and everyone is going to be against the map pool no matter what happens. For someone, it depends. Like if your team is good on those maps, the map pool is good. If they're not good, the map pool sucks. So it is what it is, and we will just get the most of it.
In terms of Deadlock, do you have any comments to make on her potential involvement in a team or two?
We'll see. That's a crazy big wall now, It's like I hope now it's going to be playable, so we can see it more in more from the pro teams, and maybe it's going to shift a little bit the meta.
To speak a tiny bit more before we wrap this one up about some of the players that you have on your hands here as well. I know some of these questions have been a bit all over the place, but we're going to circle back. An individual like Kayak, what was it like trialing him for the team? Because he's a player which has been on my radar at least for about a year or so, and his name sort of floated around here and there. For a start, I didn't even know if he was a player who commed in English necessarily, so he was like a viable option. But he's someone who really does get you excited for the next year.
This is his first English speaking team, but he's doing an amazing job so far. Trialing him was like watching the screen and oh my god, what is this guy doing? He's insane. He's just killing everyone, and he's a good rounded player, and with the right guidance, I think he will become a superstar in the future. He's really insane. I'm really happy to have him as our duelist.
Yeah, you guys seem to have a decent track record now at fostering some pretty insane youngsters. Kiko, of course, now spread his wings and he's gone off to Liquid, and we can only see how far that one ends up going. But I think, yeah, there's definitely a success story to be written here as well, and I'm really looking forward to it. Final question before we wrap this up entirely. In terms of rivals for next year and what the league looks like, I think this is a difficult question to ask because last time it was quite easy. You just pointed straight at it, focus. That is the team that we've got to beat. It's most likely 9 times out of 10 going to be us and them that are competing. In terms of around the rest now that we have left, is there anyone that you would say de facto stands out to you, or have you maybe looked at the open qualifier? I know that you used to have the team Sunny Beach with NK back in the day, right? So he's on FMG and maybe looking for a chance to find a spot in the league. What are your thoughts in the general scope of what the scene is looking like right now?
To be honest, I'm really sad that Focus left Polaris, because we had a really beautiful rivalry with them, and they actually had a really strong roster going into the season before they decided to move to DACH. And I think overall the average Polaris level of the teams is really high. I think that the teams are really good, and I saw some really good not only teams but mixed mixed team as well in the open qualifier. So I think like the 2 spots are going to be taken by 2 good teams, and we should be like ready on 100% to play versus everyone and give our best. Because if you don't give your best in every game, yeah, it's not going to end well for you. So I think like every team in Polaris has his strength, and overall it's not going to be an easy season for us for sure.
Well, thank you very much, Danny, for
Thank
the
you.
interview. It was a pleasure as always. Do you have any closing thoughts, anything that you want to leave the people with perhaps before we head out of this one?
Just get ready. The show is about to start. Polaris starts on 1st of February, so make sure to join us, guys, and let the show begin.
Thank you very much, Showmaster
Thank you
Danny.
very
Have a
much.
fantastic day.
Have a fantastic day, bro. See you.
Thank you.